Hello everyone, welcome back to Smart Move Insider, where we talk about fitness, community, and making progress inside and outside of the gym. I'm Sergiu, here with head coach Bart, and today we're diving into a topic that's pretty controversial. Will lifting weights make me bulky? This is a common concern, especially among people that are at the beginning of their journey in getting stronger. The idea that lifting weights leads to excessive muscle mass is rooted in myths and misunderstanding. For some of us, it would be great for this to happen, but it's not that simple. The reality is much more nuanced. So, what do you think, Bart? Are weights gonna get me bulky?
I think in our context, it's more the question, is CrossFit going to make me bulky, right? Because weights can make you bulky, yeah.
Exactly.
But in our context, is CrossFit going to make me bulky? We'll bring up a couple of points, but...
What I mean literally is if I touch weights, if I'm not just doing machines and cables, will it make me bigger? Because it's usually into the female side of the audience that if they think that if they touch weights, lift weights, they will get like huge.
Yeah, but you mean when they come into our gym, if they touch weights?
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's going to be a difference between training style.
Exactly.
But that's going to be one of the huge things. So indeed, like you said, this is a question we often get from new joiners when they walk in and they come in for their intake talk, or we talk to them about CrossFit. Their first question is CrossFit going to make me bulky? And most of the time it's a question coming from women, because the guys probably hope that CrossFit will make them bulky.
Yeah, I think so. But I had a couple of guys that said that I don't want to get too muscular. I don't want to get like those bodybuilders. I was like,
Ooh.
don't be afraid. You will not end up like that. It's a lot of work over there.
Yeah, it's a lot of work over there, and in the end, the CrossFit method is not designed to help you gain a maximum amount of muscle. So the CrossFit training program is not designed in that way, because if you're coming to CrossFit to gain the most amount of muscle, it's not the most efficient way to do so. So CrossFit is made to help you get a all-round fitness. So we're talking about GPP, general physical preparedness. That's what CrossFit is aimed towards. So to make sure that you are ready for anything you might encounter outside. It could be jump into a football game with your friends, go in December for skiing, that your legs are strong enough, you have enough endurance to run behind your kid when he's playing, pick up your kid, move the couch, grab the grocery bags, from the shop to the car, from the car up the stairs. This is what CrossFit is intended to do. So all what I described had nothing to do with be a bodybuilder. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to do the daily stuff, but you do need a minimum amount of cardio, a minimum amount of muscle, a minimum amount of strength to do the daily stuff. So that's what CrossFit is meant to be. So no, the short answer is, will CrossFit make you bulky? Probably not.
Exactly, and I think only when you start a journey of getting bulkier, you realize very fast that this is very hard. You might get a bit pumped when you're doing the hypertrophy sessions, but like some say, this is you from the future, the pump, because that will not last more than half an hour.
Yeah, the pump. And when we do some accessory work, so straight bodybuilding sets in CrossFit, we don't do enough volume. Because if you ever were trying to get bulky and trying to add muscle, you would know the most efficient way will be to train bodybuilding style, train the big muscle groups, train muscles in isolation, train between a rep range of 8 to 12 or maybe even 8 to 15 reps. You want to have time under tension, and not just 3 sets. We're talking about 15 sets per muscle group, or 20 sets, or even 25 sets. We go to full exhaustion. Maybe we train even to full failure, because the goal of that training style is to add muscle. And even then, no matter if you're training CrossFit, powerlifting, or bodybuilding, it's not that easy to gain muscle. It won't come easy. It's a long-term journey. So This is about how to train, and that type of training we don't really do in CrossFit.
Exactly. I'm 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 agree with you. It's about exhausting the muscle. You do as many reps as possible so that you can do any more.
Yeah, and it
And
needs to be in a certain rep range,
by that
because
muscle growth comes.
in CrossFit we often do heavy, and I think it's a big confusion sometimes amongst people, the difference between strength training and training for muscle mass. If we're gonna train 1 to 5 reps as heavy as possible for maybe 8 to 25 reps, depending, could be 8 times 1 or it could be 5 times 5, and you have 25 heavy sets with a lot of rest in between. You're never taking your body to real exhaustion. You're not really going to fail, as we talked about, but you're training your body to be as strong as you can be for your weight. So if I'm 75 kilos, when I make you do 5 times 5 deadlift, it's not because I'm trying to get you to 80 kilos body weight. I'm just trying to get you stronger to be able to lift more weight at the size you are at. If I would want to get you bigger, I would go and we will do maybe also deadlift, but maybe we'll do 5 sets of 10 reps with, I don't know, 90 seconds rest in between. Then we're gonna go and do some barbell rows again, 5 sets of, or 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Again, 1 minute rest in between. And I will hit you on very specific muscles.
Mhm. So in CrossFit we do train a bit different than this. We train multiple times compound movement, and when we lift weights, we don't go that many reps.
No, sometimes we do, and it's okay. It's more as an accessory work to strengthen the muscles a bit. It helps for injury prevention. But then again, it's not enough sets to actually force that muscle to go for maximum size like a bodybuilder would do, because we'll do one exercise, maybe a superset. And usually it's not on the same body part. It's a superset between push and pull, for example. But it's not, okay, chest, chest, chest. 3 exercises or 4 exercises, 4, 5 sets. It's not enough volume. It's more of an accessory work, like to help you do the CrossFit things, to help you strengthen yourself up to do the heavy lifts. Is more from that point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've posted on our site, and I've also talked in this podcast about the CrossFit pyramid. And if you didn't see it yet, just type on Google CrossFit pyramid and you will see a pyramid where the base of the pyramid is conditioning. So the majority of our focus, the base of the pyramid, the majority of our time we spend doing metabolic conditioning. So things that raise your heart rate, not things that exhaust your muscle till failure, which then would help to grow muscle. So it's a little bit of a different focus. So to get bulky, you also need to train to get bulky. And CrossFit most of the time is spending his time doing cardio, then on the next step doing gymnastics, on the next step, yes, we do some weightlifting, but like I said, it's more on the strength training side than it is on the hypertrophy side. So more getting strong for your size than trying to get your body bigger and more muscular. Of course, doing this training style, you'll get more lean, you'll get more athletic looking, but not necessarily much huger. Maybe if you would focus and you specifically pick out the days where you get more lifting and you eat enough, you might gain a bit. But it's not a training style, no matter what you do, that you're gonna gain 10 kilos like easy, because it wouldn't be efficient in this way if that's your goal.
I completely agree. But what would you say those guys that are really, really big and ripped from the CrossFit athletes, they look like they're little bodybuilders because they're short.
Yeah, and they are.
So how are they getting those type of bodies, and how hard it is to get at that stage?
Yeah, so CrossFit Games athletes, most of us, that's the first time we probably heard of CrossFit, right? You also
Exactly.
you saw the videos of the CrossFit Games.
We saw the OGs, the Froning, Kalipa back in the days.
The guys and the girls, muscular, buff, like a square. But we need to take one thing in consideration. To look like that, one, it takes a long time. And they're not just doing CrossFit. And what I mean with not just doing CrossFit is, when I say you're doing CrossFit, it's what you see in affiliate what you see in a CrossFit gym where normal people train CrossFit. That's CrossFit. It's within 1 hour. It's general physical preparedness. They also do that to CrossFit Games athletes, but next to that, they lift bodybuilding style almost every day. They do gymnastics. They do heavy lifts on the Olympic lifts, heavy powerlifting. So next to what we would do in an hour just to be generally fit, they do a lot of extra stuff. So if the general member of our gym would train 3 hours a week, so 3 classes, what the CrossFit Games athlete, he will do 5 to 6 days a week, 3 hours of training. So they have 18 to 20 hours, you have 3 hours. So just the total volume and also the big focus on just lifting weights that they have will bring their body to look a certain way. If you would focus majority of your time for 15 hours a week on lifting weights, strength training, and bodybuilding style exercises, accessory work, you would also start gaining muscle. But what we do in class is general preparedness. It's just 1 hour. You never get to that volume. And it's also not the goal of the programming to look like that, because you need to train in a certain way to look like that.
Exactly. And to this, you must add those extra supplements that they take, plus the strict diet that they have. And they eat like crazy. Remember those strongmen, how much would they eat? But I recently looked at what the CrossFit athlete eats per day, and they go close to 4,000 calories.
Yeah, I also saw 4,000 because they also do a lot of cardio on top of it. So they need to have enough calories in the tank to, one, have energy, but two, also not to burn all their muscles. Because just look at the marathon runner. He does so much cardio. You need to fuel yourself enough, or otherwise you're going to start burning muscle. And the CrossFit athlete doesn't want to burn muscle because he's a hybrid athlete. He needs to have good cardio and he needs to be strong, and to be so strong to do the things they need to do, because that's also important to know. They're preparing for the events in competition, the weights they're going to hit in competition. They're not preparing to lift the couch with a friend. So they need a huge amount of muscle mass. They need a huge amount of strength, and they need to fuel themselves accordingly, because they're also doing a lot of cardio next to it. So it's a complicated puzzle to solve, to be a CrossFit Games athlete.
Exactly. So as a little summary, it's the training type that you do, and then the diet. Is that very different?
Yeah, because bulking, it's not something that just happens. When we want to gain weight, we first need to know what our maintenance level is. So if at 2,500 I stay at this weight, I don't go up or I don't go down. If every day I eat 2,500, if you want to bulk, you need to deliberately eat more. So it doesn't happen just by accident that you start gaining. So sometimes I tell jokingly, when people say I got more buff since I do CrossFit, especially women, you start eating cookies every day, because I don't think it's the CrossFit, because like I already explained, with the type of training we do, so high cardio and not enough volume training on the lifts, it's very unlikely that this is the thing that's getting you bigger. What it should do is lean you out. But if you eat in a surplus, you're not measuring, but you're eating at feeling, and you're eating so much in a surplus, it's not the training, it's the food that's making you bulky. Yeah?
But the trainer told me that I need to fuel up for this effort, I need to eat more. But you need to eat more of the good stuff, not more of the bad stuff. And then you will start telling us that you see a body change, but not in a bulky way.
Yeah. No, you're just getting fat. So, and even from the good stuff, if I eat 1,000 calories too much of the good stuff, I'm also gonna. It's my body is not consuming it, so it's going to go to my love handles.
Exactly, it's like a reference to our nutrition podcast. Go 10%, 10%, 10% increases. Don't go crazy. Don't go all of a sudden 50% more than what you used to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Have a look at that podcast. What was it? Somewhere, one of the first ones. It's all about nutrition, and there we go a bit more in depth about how you can slowly play around with your food. But if you're in the case that you're starting to become a bit bulky, the first thing I would tell you is maybe you should measure a little bit for the next 2 months what you're doing food-wise, because you might be eating more than your body needs for the energy you're expending in daily life and in training. So if you're overeating, it's not the training. You're gonna get fatter, because if you wouldn't train, if you're still overeating for the amount of energy you are using, you're still gonna get fatter. So what is it then? You're not training, but you're still getting fat. It's the food, guys. It's the food.
Of course. And if somebody comes to me and tells me that they got bigger since they started CrossFit, I go for the numbers. Okay, when's the last time you weigh yourself? I didn't weigh myself. I just feel my clothes. Okay, so you didn't. Let's start this. Start this week. Measure yourself to the point and see how heavy you are. Next we're gonna do the same, and next week we do the same. If we see a sudden increase, then it's a alarm signal. But if nothing happens, it's a lot in our heads. And if it's such a big jump, let's say you don't get buffer, you get lighter. You need to go for a blood test, because sometimes it happens that the balance in our body, something is not firing as it should, and we lose or we gain very fast. But we need to know our numbers. Like
I
every
think
time.
you need to investigate, you need to measure to know what's going on. Otherwise, you're just guessing, and it's easy. The easiest thing is to blame outside things, while in 90% of the cases, it's your food habits that's influencing your weight up or your weight down. So, like I said, it's not very likely you're going to walk into a CrossFit gym and magically add muscle. You have to do some very specific actions if you have the goal to add muscle, and it's going to come down into training over long term, training in a very specific way where we add hypertrophy sets to our programming, add enough calories to support this muscle growth with enough protein, enough overall calories. It's not just going to happen by accident, because we both have spent times in our training journey where we wanted to add muscle. It's not easy. So
it's not at all easy.
No, it's like I said, you need to really have a plan. If you want to bulk up, you really need to have a plan. Otherwise, nothing happens. So if you are interested in adding muscle, you're going to have to spend more time lifting weights for strength purpose and for muscle gain purpose, and in isolation, bodybuilding style training, targeting specific muscle groups, preferably 2 times a week. Certain muscle groups, that would be what I know out of experience would be a good rhythm. Like, for example, chest triceps Monday, chest triceps Thursday, back biceps Tuesday and Friday, and then legs 2 times. What is that? Wednesday and Saturday, something like that. If you have like a real focus for 8 to 12 weeks to gain some pure muscle. But if you're not interested in adding a bunch of muscle, lift the weights in the CrossFit class. We're just doing strength. It's not made to make you bigger. It's just made to make you stronger. The goal with that type of training is to keep you at the same body weight. So don't shy away from trying to push your limits over there. It's just 2 to 5 reps most of the time. And if we want to gain muscle again, we're going to want to go 8 to 15 reps, a lot of volume, a lot of sets, preferably different exercises for the same muscle group. So my number one advice, if you want to gain weight while doing CrossFit, is start looking at your food. You're going to have to be in a surplus. But it's not going to be the most efficient way to add muscle. The same, like if you don't want to gain weight, same story. Keep doing the CrossFit classes. They're not designed to make you look big. They're designed to get you lean. And I think most people, that's what they're after. If you ask them the question, I want to look more toned and I want to look athletic without becoming big. And I think 95% of cases, that's what's going to happen. You always have exceptions of people that just have good genetics and with whatever they do, they're gaining easy. Or if you're in the beginning of your journey of just doing sports, your body is going to add muscle because you didn't have muscle before. So you're going to have those newbie gains. But if you don't want to get bigger size-wise or weight-wise, also there, look at your food. Make sure you just stick to your maintenance level. Don't go. Make sure you're not in a surplus. And if you're still gaining weight, maybe you need to go in a little slight deficit, maybe a little bit under 200-300 calories, and play around a bit with it. So whatever you want to do, like we talked about in our food podcast, look at the calories intake and make sure that you know where you're at, that you're not guessing, because it influences big time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so follow the 80-20 rule for both cases. You still remember the 80-20 rule?
Yeah, I really love it because it makes me not be that strict with myself in multiple areas in my life. I'm trying not to be so strict. I'm giving myself 20% of going around it.
So what's the 80-20 rule again for those that didn't hear us talk about it yet?
80-20% in days, it's like 80% you're doing the right stuff and 20% you give yourself a break.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you are putting this in the diet part or into the, I don't know what habit are you having and trying to get it out. Don't be so strict. And from the start, this is from now out. Because if you do that, that strictness, it will make you fall back in the loop. So give yourself some slack, and 80% of the time try to be strict with yourself, like in days. Let's go Monday, Friday. Let's eat what's the good stuff, and then Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday, give yourself a treat, but
Something,
not
not
the
a day.
entire day.
Yeah.
Give yourself something in that day.
Yeah.
What you crave for, pancakes or a cookie, but not cola, alcohol, pizza, burger, pasta,
All day long.
and everything, because that's gonna ruin all your gains from the week.
All the deficits you were on from Monday till Friday can easily be overturned by not tracking anything in the weekend. So all those 300 calories that you were in a deficit all those days, now you're in a plus in the Saturday, Sunday, and now the entire week was for nothing. So to be easily set is most of the time do what you're supposed to do, training wise, food wise, and then on the long term the results will come. And because you give yourself that 20% where you can do some stuff that you like, it will be maintainable long term. So I looked it up. It was episode 9 where we talked about nutrition, so check it out, or book a nutrition consultation with Coach Laura, and she can help you analyze your current food habits and guide you towards a sustainable 80-20 approach for the future. We have to remember fitness is a marathon, not a sprint. It's tweaking your fitness and nutrition according to your goals, whatever that might be, gaining weight, losing weight. But as a summary for today's episode, will CrossFit make me bulky? No, because it's not designed to train you for maximum muscle gain.
That's cool. So we can wrap this up here. I really enjoyed this episode, and I think it's very it sheds a bit of a light on a lot of myths in this sport, and it actually is very important of your training program, what you're doing, the diet, what you're eating, and let's not forget how you recover, because bodybuilders are like babies. They sleep, train, and eat, and they don't do much around it.
They do everything according to get to the goal of maximum muscle.
Exactly. So the rest is very important. If you have a kid, or if you work and if you sleep 5 to 6 hours a day, adding muscle, it's very little.
And be careful not to compare the average CrossFit athlete and their training program with the professional CrossFit Games athlete and their training program and their goals. It's completely different.
Exactly. And to all of this, you add the genetics and metabolism, because some people say that my genetics are in that, how was that, endomorph, like the huge guy, the square guy. I gain fast. Yeah, I know, but still, if you do just CrossFit, it will get what's not necessary out of your body.
You know that joke, being fat runs in my family.
Yeah.
Nobody runs in your family.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So we hope this clears up some of the myths considering the topic about lifting weights and helps you be more confident in your CrossFit journey. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the gym.